Have you ever felt so good that it almost makes you uncomfortable? The vibes today that I've been channeling, really honestly for the past week or so, but today for sure in an intensified way, have been exhilarating. Almost so much so that it makes me kind of nervous. It really, really does. So that's the preview message today, and in perfect form, I landed on the Sun, which of course is the most positive card in the deck. But I don't know where we're going with this, but I love where we're starting. And in my prayers today, I definitely proclaimed that it would be never ending and only compound with interest as time goes on. And also praying that it be grounded and settled in a way that feels affirmative for sure, and not just a fluke or a passing feeling, but that's something I don't even know how or what I'm asking for, but me personally, that's what I'm calling in, is just some way to ground this sensation so that I can just fully immerse myself in it, without hesitation or overthinking, or without what's the word? I guess kind of like paranoia. There's a slight hint of paranoia or reluctance that that almost too good to be true feeling, or things are too quiet, or things are going too smoothly or running too smoothly, all of that. I feel like I have said this before, that it was going to take some time to transition out of that sense of bracing for the worst, but hoping, even expecting the best. There's something that's been eliminated, perhaps on account of the solar eclipse, that has kind of like canceled out that feeling that usually is counterproductive to just optimism in its highest frequency. So maybe it's really just the sensation of that I'm feeling in real time, but nonetheless, I love the exhilaration. I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I only hope again that it just persists and that I can become more, I can embrace it more, and that it can integrate with me more, so that it just feels natural. It's something that I don't even have to consider. So anyway, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae. I'm here with a message for you. Today is Thursday, August 13th. It's 2026, of course. Yesterday was the solar eclipse and also the new moon in Leo. I had time to pull up, but I just felt a bit conservative with my energy yesterday, and I was just kind of soaking in the light and incubating it. So I hope that you enjoyed the day, and that maybe you felt some significant change, or sensation that was different than the day before. And that for you also, it's something that just continues to progress and advance more and more, in a way that you are very aware of. So anyway, I'm using the Mahogany Tarot deck again, and what else going on out there? Oh, somebody's utilities driving on the grass, I guess. I am going to cut it, but yeah, I'm using the Mahogany Tarot deck. I talked about this deck in my last message. Check it out, mahoganytarot.com or the Mahogany Tarot Etsy shop. And as you can see, it's just images and the likeness of black people. Black, brown, whatever you fancy, but you know, hands that look like mine pretty much, which I love. And so far I like the deck. It's cool. Of course, it's very traditional for the most part, in the way of the Rider-Waite deck. But of course, there are some ethnic embellishments to the skin tone, the hair, and features, and so on and so forth that are pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so let's see what we got. Page of Pentacles right here. All right, let's see, what's that about? That could be a small offering, or what's the Page of Pentacles? Sorry, my eye is itching a little bit. What's the Page of Pentacles offering or offering to? In a bit of a struggle, but these kind of slide, so I'll take it up right. This could be like, I'm getting like a token of appreciation for your struggle, or for the end of at the end of a tough cycle. Now, is this pentacle is this an offering as a resource or compensation? I'm not too sure. Let me get one in the middle of these, because I feel something, but I don't want to take the liberty just yet. Let me see. Oh, wow. That's way too many. Ooh. But we got... stuck together from my spit on my fingers. All right, so we got the Six of Swords, the Ten of Swords. Yeah, I wasn't getting the most favorable energy about this. But let's see. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm getting like someone in a struggle. See, remember how the Ten of Wands kind of was turning upside down? Maybe someone struggling to get out of a tough situation, and they're trying to find an escape, trying to find protection, trying to find their footing to ground themselves. But it's like they keep cycling, like the Six of Swords is headed right back into the 10. And what I was feeling here is like this Page of Pentacles is not a lot of provision when you got a 10 of Wands struggle on your hands. It's like having, I mean, you might have some money coming in, or some income, but having way more bills or way more debt than you have resource. That's what I was sensing here. So this will probably be a little bit less, structured than my typical ones. So I'm just go for it and see what happens. But yeah, it's like someone trying to kind of escape their struggle and strife, but they keep falling back into some type of misfortune, or some type of unsavory, or like every time somebody thinks they may be out of the woods in one scenario, it's like they find themselves entangled in something else. If it's not a wand, it's a sword. If it's not a sword, it's a pentacle. Like there's something going on here. Let me get one more here. What was that? Oh, the High Priestess. Yeah, that's confirming for me. All right. We don't want no more on this. I'm gonna try one more time. Maybe somebody doesn't want it to be known. They want it to stay a secret. They're trying to conceal their struggle from, yeah, even with the Seven of Wands, like it's not, they don't really want it to, and maybe that's why they're at such a disadvantage or in such misfortune, because someone doesn't really want it to be known how much help they may need. They may be either afraid to ask for help or afraid to admit that they're in a tough spot, and they're steady trying to, like, you know, pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and figure it out. Or maybe there isn't any help. That could be it too. But I get a sense of someone not really wanting to publicize, but so much broadcast, I guess I should say, what they're going through. And that is not really working to their advantage, because, you know, closed mouth don't get fed type of thing. And also, they could be putting more pressure on themselves by way of pride and ego, which is also not going to produce anything positive of what's already, you know, unfavorable or whatever. Like, let me see if I can get one more here. Ooh, damn. And this I will take in the reverse, because that's how it flipped over. Yeah, somebody feels defeated in the worst way. They're not able to get over something. And the ways in which that they think, or they thought they had everything under control, you know, they had enough gas in the tank to just keep going, grin and bear it, fake it till they make it, you know, find their way to some level ground before anyone is on to them or whatever. I don't know. It's not working out. It's given, like, it's starting to show whatever someone is going through. It's starting to be quite obvious. And they're also kind of coming to a point where, like I said, like, it's not helping their situation. If anything, it's making it worse for them to put on airs or to pretend like it's something that it's not. I don't know. Let me move on from that, because I have a feeling this energy is about to change. This could just be something that's going, like, total opposite of what I was sensing, you know. So it just could be just the contrast and the disparity of experiences in the realm right now, where some are on a high and some are really at a low, or they feel like they are. Hold on, I found this one off. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. I just want to make sure. I just placed an order to pick up groceries. Oh man, they never have that. And if you don't answer their substitutions fast enough, they'll just give you what you don't want, and I don't want that to happen, but we're all good. All right. Yeah, somebody could. Interesting. Something that whatever someone is going through is what they ordered up. I'm literally hearing conjured up in my head is what they ordered up, but it's either more than what they bargained for and or much less at the same time. Yeah, oh, that makes so much sense with the Page of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. It's like they put a lot of effort into achieving or accomplishing something that was supposed to be beneficial or profitable, but yet it only yielded a measly coin and a whole lot of headache. Like the means does not, what's that phrase? The means did not justify the ends. Something along those lines. Hence why the pride is flared up, is what I'm sensing, because it was supposed to. You know, at the Five of Swords, like somebody thought they had something in the bag when they thought it was upright, that they had an advantage or they were winning or they had the drop on the ops or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they thought they had some territory covered or whatever they were feeling froggy about, let's say, and it's not that, but it ultimately is what they ordered, what they conjured, but just not in the, how can I say this, because that what I just said about my order triggered this, where it's like they created these circumstances or these consequences, but it's it was like a swap out from what it was supposed to be, if that makes sense. Where I was saying, like, if I don't speak up or, you know, respond to the suggestions for what do you call it, for substitutions, they'll just put it in my order and I don't even want it. It's like somebody let something go on too long and they got a lot more than what they bargained for. And they're still paying for it at that. Because you still will pay for whatever they decide. Oh, you don't respond, you're going to get it anyway. Interesting. Okay. The Two of Swords here. Something or someone may be blocked, or also just may be indifferent, like I was saying before. Like, this just may have nothing to do with you. Like, you cannot relate in some way, shape, or form. But let's see what else with this Two of Swords. Oh, wow, yeah. Cannot relate to no Five of Cups. No disappointment, no grief, loss, sadness, shame, guilt. Like somebody is just completely unaffected by that energy in some way, shape, or form. What else? Let me see. Let me try to get another one with this. What else with this Five of Cups? So if you look at the Five of Swords, the two swords that are fallen, and then you got the two swords that are up right here, it's like someone was supposed to be the target of some type of transfer of energy. Like I was saying before, there was some investment made to create some type of unsavory dynamic. You know, in this case, maybe to cause someone some type of grief or sadness or great loss, to project depression or some type of insecurity, uncertainty, and it was blocked with the Two of Swords. And so there it is. They got what they ordered, but it didn't go where they thought it was going. It came back to sender. Because remember, we started this message in my energy and also with the Sun card on the top of the deck. Let me get another one with this Five of Cups. Yeah, somebody really, this was a Hail Mary to try to shake something off of them, or to just cause some type of disturbance, you know, like some last-ditch effort to create a disturbance outside of themselves. In whatever way it was, they would have felt it would have benefited them, or maybe just because, just for sport, you know, just to say that they could or did, and it didn't quite land, or didn't land at all, as a matter of fact. What's that? Oh, that's way too many. Let me see. Oh gosh, that's too many. I'll probably still keep it though. But yeah, so we got the Five of Wands, the Three of Cups, and yeah, like there was some celebration about what was supposed to be transferred, some conflict that was supposed to be transferred secretly, mystically, you know, but when you consider like there being or to put an end to celebration or whatever, but I get the sense that this was some type of celebration, you know, when we say like they celebrated too early type of energy, because it was most definitely supposed to land or be transferred or transmitted to a direct source. There was like specific coordinates for an energy to make its way to, and so much so that two things, because I'm hearing something screaming in my head. First of all, get into these beautiful images. I'm all looking at them, but I should be sharing them with you. How cute are they? I love their hair in this one. It was like there was a celebration, feeling certain that something would be or is successful, right? I don't know where they saw the evidence for that. I said they, but could be multiple, could be one. I don't know what they observed or what was observed to give off that impression, but that was the response. Some type of like, yes, yeah, we got it, we did it, you know, feeling of accomplishment of some type of circumstance that was created, whether we're talking mystically or just natural, you know, to be a natural interference, right? But what I'm also hearing is that on the mystical side, to some degree, that's how people like amp themselves up, or at least that they believe that to be a force fuel, to kind of like prematurely what's the right word, like to put yourself in the end state where you're already celebrating the outcome that hasn't naturally occurred because you're looking to manifest it or attract it, or to solidify it from the spirit to the natural. And that's the energy that I'm feeling, I'm sensing, that was invoked maybe in a particular group or a particular person, maybe spirits that were actually invoked in celebration for some culminating event or result, like partying in honor of it being done and accomplished, even though it had not been. And so that is what really puts, a real damper on the parade of the evidence of the effects proven to have failed or not landed in the way that it was supposed to, because a lot of energy was exerted in kind of juicing up, beefing up the efforts in the spiritual sense. And you got to do a lot of, like, it's quite delusional, and a lot of times you'll hear even the highest vibrational spiritualist or energy enthusiasts tell you that you kind of have to be a bit delusional to ramp up your manifestation abilities. But this was literally just delusion, is what I'm getting. Like, if it ever had a chance, it wasn't going to be against whomever it was projected to, because this is the high priestess. You're not getting nothing over on the high priestess. And we've already established that there was some type of blockage in the Two of Swords, or indifference to some provocation. So if there was supposed to be some absorption of sadness or depression or fear or insecurity, there was already some type of security measure in place that didn't allow that breach to happen. And so if there is no place for that energy projection to land, it's just going to cycle back around until it finds a proper place to reside, to make itself back at home. And in this case, it will be back with those that sent it out. And then here's the thing, like with the Five of Wands, a lot of energy and effort, maybe collaborative effort. I'm hearing I'm feeling something ritualistic, maybe a lot of sacrifices were made, chanting, maybe some type of, sexual energy to induce these efforts. Something could, especially with the Ten of Wands, like I was saying before, like a lot of energy was invested into an end result. The Ten of Swords and the Ten of Swords are both supposed to be endings, but they were also supposed to be transferable in magnitude to someone or something else. They weren't supposed to stay home with the source of that projection. And either they have, or because it's clear that they didn't go where they were supposed to, or stay where they were supposed to go, that is certain to whomever, is in that aggressive seat, that it must be on its way back. And that could be the scramble of trying to figure out some new method of defense, or even trying to get away from what could be a backfire, trying to, fight back in some type of way, maybe doing some type of reversal. How you gonna reverse your own damn work? That's crazy. I don't know. They try to do something, but... And perhaps that's the reason for the amplified exhilaration that I'm sensing, because that would be an effect as well. That would be an effect here as well, for, because I've said this before, like the realm is rigged now. So you can't just be projecting negativity toward any old body, really anybody at all, but certainly not any old body, because all you're going to do is add value to where they already are. So if you're trying to stop somebody's manifestations, you're just going to accelerate it. If you're trying to make someone feel insecure, you're just going to give them more courage and more reasons to feel safe and stable. You're trying to interrupt their material flow, you're just going to increase it. Like it's just not working the way that it used to. And perhaps those ritualistic affairs were effective, at a time, but certainly not now. Certainly not now, especially where there's no justification or jurisdiction for it. So, let's see. Yeah, look. Except the Eight of Swords, that was the intention. To put someone into some type of like spiritual jail, disable their confidence, their to feel disempowered, to not know which way is up or down, or what to do next, feeling like you don't have to humble someone. That's what I'm actually getting, like. But more than humble, is actually more than just a humbling. It's like to disgrace someone. To disgrace and displace someone from just their natural essence. Let alone from amplifying that essence from where it was, organically. Definitely don't want that to happen. But this is even worse than that. It's not just a matter of tying somebody's hands. It's like they just want to inflict just the worst case scenario onto someone that they can, to ultimately have an effect on how they create or manifest or attract in the highest good. But the intentions, it feels like very aggressive, all that was employed, maybe quite literally. All who and all what was employed to do this. Perhaps on account of the fact that they felt that it was necessary to kind of bring out the big guns, but also that was just how much determination was behind it to make it fatal almost. Like, you're not supposed to get up from this type of really like attack, probably a spiritual attack. You're not supposed to recover from you weren't supposed to recover from this. All right, let me get another pile over here, and then we're gonna, what was that? The Hermit. But you were covered. You had guidance. You listening to your intuition, following your inner knowing, keeping your eyes open, and also staying out the way when necessary. All of that adds layers to your protection. Listening to that, to your intuition, knowing when to press forward, knowing when to fall back, knowing when to change up the routine or maintain the routine, whatever the case, add something to the routine, whatever the case may be, is really just kind of being alert and trusting your brand of mastery, whatever that is. Ace of Swords. Okay. What's the Let me get one on the side of that. What's being revealed, or what's the information, confirmation, other than everything I just said? What's on the other side of that? I'm going to try to even it out, but probably won't be. Wow, that just moved, that just flipped so freaking effortlessly. The Ten of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, the very opposite of the Ten of Swords, of what was intended, and the Ten of Wands, literally the very opposite. So like I said, where there was an intention to create struggle, there ultimately was abundance. Abundance came out of those efforts. Maybe new gifts, new opportunities, money, good luck, fortune. Like I was saying, things just working out, you know, going well, feeling like they're flowing. Could even be some type of inspired idea about how to make money, or an inspired idea that's going to open up the road for something very for like a wealth, you know, wealth of like a rich idea that's going to pretty much be like the key to your generational wealth, or a factor in it, you know. That's what I'm definitely getting. So they wanted you to be Two of Swords, not knowing what the hell to do or what's going on, or Eight of Swords, even worse, to completely stop you, block you, pick you up and drop you. And here it is again. You actually became more inspired, more enlightened. Maybe you don't have 10 ideas, but maybe you just have one, and that's the key to your rich and wealthy life. You know what I mean? Where you don't even have to diversify so much, or put, you know, dibble and dabble in multiple things. Like just one thing is going to be that key. Interesting. Like coming up with an invention or something, like $1 million idea that's, you know, one of those things when you see it, you're like, damn, I wish I had thought of that. That's the type of energy I'm sensing. Something that your family can live off of for generations and continue to grow, perhaps, and build and advance and multiply. But in this lifetime, it's literally like all you need to live a very wealthy life. If you don't do anything more, that would be fine. But of course you have the resources, the time, even, because time is a luxury, the support, the opportunity, the information, the inspiration. Like you have everything literally at your disposal as a resource to either just maintain what you've been gifted or what's been imparted unto you, or to expand it, to multiply it. That part is just like the icing on the cake. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, look. Oh man. I thought I had got me one. A balanced sequence, but we got the Nine of Wands, the Lovers, the Star, and the Four of Cups. Yeah, somebody's missed out. Ooh, she real naked, Lord. But look at her though, with her little afro. I'll try to cover her up a little bit. But yeah, somebody missed out on like a golden, maybe once in a lifetime opportunity, or missed or became so distracted again with these wands, with trying to inflict some type of discomfort or disturbance outside of themselves, that they missed the moment to cultivate. Wow, he's ultra naked too. To cultivate their own destiny, in its purest form. hmm And now it's like they're kind of outside looking in. And this could even be the energy of those projected upon as well, with the Nine of Wands, just kind of like being resilient and staying grounded and fighting through the worst of circumstances, or overcoming the pressure or whatever, and finding their way to the reward of it all, through their resilience. But either way is given very much so outside looking in energy, where those that went about finding abundance and trying to curate a life of opulence a certain way, a very, I would say, a quite destructive way, perhaps, are finding that it just wasn't worth it. It didn't really yield what they thought, at least not for a sustainable amount of time. Like it didn't last very long. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just do this. I ain't even gotta go no more. It didn't last very long. It did, like I said in the very beginning, pulled out all the stops, thought they had all the I's dotted and T's crossed. Every practitioner on the line that they could employ, or every effort that they could commandeer, to co-create for their cause or whatever, every what's the word, like collaboration that they could muster. And still, when it comes down to it, somebody is still left all to their lonesome to manage all that they've mismanaged. And that's the case whether this was a group or whether this, it really doesn't matter. It's like when it comes down to it, may have been a collaborative or collective effort. I think that's what I was trying to say. A collective effort to make this achievement, or do something to create some type of outcome. But when it's all said and done, it's not going to be a collaborative experience of karma. It's pretty much every man for himself, which really sucks. Everybody's going to have to be responsible for their contribution to whatever it is that I'm talking about here. And there's not going to be anything fulfilling or satisfying about it. And it's not a matter of a misery loves company and like kind of pulling others in to at least have some type of distraction, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, damn, at least we all suffering together. Oh, no. It's going to be almost a solitary confinement to, which is perfectly in line with that Eight of Swords, that projection of spiritual jail, so to speak, maybe even actual. Is going to be a solitary confinement, even if you are surrounded by people, or even if you aren't actually imprisoned. There's a certain loneliness that may ensue as a result of actions that were taken in some, unsavory way. It's like you may have had help to project 10 of swords and 10 of swords and 10 of wands to someone else. And here it is. It just makes perfect sense in terms of the karma and um, the karmic justice of it all. It was intended for all of that energy to go to one place or to one person, or to create one scenario or circumstance. So it actually is only fitting that there would be no sharing of the stress or the burden or the load with anyone else. I mean, even when you're on your path toward your North Star and you're, on that destined path where you're trying to find, yourself, or trying to just pursue your passion or whatever you feel called to do, even that is a solitary path. So it literally is no different. But instead of someone putting all that energy and effort and work and blood, sweat, and tears, perhaps quite literally, into following their own North Star, they opted to create detours, disruptions, and in some cases outright destruction to others' paths. And they use that as a stepping stone to advance. I won't even say elevate, because it was just an advancement, but only for a limited time. And now that they're back down on the ground, back, falling back down to reality and having to really survey the mess that they've created and sift through it, is really not so much fun anymore. And it certainly isn't satisfying. It's definitely not profitable. And it's also lonely. So that's really unfortunate. Let me just push that up a little bit. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you could be having the time of your life, or about to be. And there's nothing that anybody can do about it, because they got too much on their own plate to worry about. And as I said, it'll only make matters worse for folks to keep trying to infringe upon your good time, because the more that is done, the better it gets. And the more they have to actually watch on the sidelines or from the outside in, as it does get to be so right before their eyes, it just is going to intensify that feeling of FOMO that came on account of FAFO. Oh man, look at this. We got the 4 of Wands. Yeah, it's like everything's all good here. We're all having a great time. We're having a great time. And there's no ending in sight, except for if we so choose to call it a night and move on to something else or whatever. Otherwise, like, this is what those energies have to look forward to, is really just the best case scenario is to put themselves on the path to enlightenment, so that they can have some recreation of what they are observing you experience, or what they may speculate that you are, on account of, like I said, they know it ain't hitting the way they thought, or they know that their luck suddenly has changed, or their circumstances have taken a turn. So they must imagine, like, oh, well, If it's hitting me, then it must not be, because some people might not even be able to see what you got going on in your life. Another aspect of the hermit where you don't even necessarily put yourself on display, and good for you. You ain't going live every time you're doing something fun or you're out on vacation. You may not even post pictures about it, but you're living your best life nonetheless. Not a complaint in the world, not a cloud in the sky. And that's an amazing accomplishment to have in life, to just be able to enjoy yourself. Some people, they didn't feel like they could enjoy themselves without certain material, and not even just limited to material, but some people really are so sinister that they can't even enjoy themselves if you're enjoying yourself. They feel like they want to be the only ones enjoying themselves, and they don't want to see that shared energy amongst certain people, or amongst people that they feel shouldn't be having such a great time. And maybe you were one of those targets where you were just having too much fun in life, too easeful, too peaceful, too secure, too stable, too self-aware and assured. And they felt that it was their duty to just shake it up a little bit for you. And then when that didn't work, they shook it up a little more until they just continued to go harder and harder, until it became diabolical, quite honestly, where they eventually didn't even recognize themselves anymore for all the negative intentions that they had toward you just living your natural life. But for whatever it's worth, that's their cross to bear now, literally. And the only hope for it all is that they've learned something about themselves and something to help them be better and do better, so that they can ultimately have better. And if not, oh well. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.